19 car bring out caution number 7 on the day. He was running in 19th position. Elliott Sadler out of Emporia, Virginia, one of 3 Virginia natives in the field. Trying to get the car turned back around. We'll show you what happened to him. By the way, the 17 car, Matt Kenseth, gets a break. He will get the free pass and get back on the lead lap.
See Elliott battling with the 8 car of Eric Almirola here. Just a little bit of a misjudge on the part of the 8 car there, it looked like.
That's not the direction you want to be headed when you go in the corner.
Looked like he was just trying to get back to the bottom of the racetrack there, and unfortunately misjudged that just a little bit.
Pits are open. We know that Sadler will come in with that damaged car.
All the leaders are staying out right here so far. You see David Rudeman making a move to pit road.
Rudeman was up in the 8th spot.
Leaders had just pitted 32 laps ago, so they will stay on the racetrack by and large here with 3 laps to go to lap 200. Back in a moment.
Sock'em kind of day so far here at Martinsville, Virginia. Final short track race of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season being led by Jimmie Johnson and Jeff Gordon, and we're less than a lap from the restart. And we're seeing a lot of brakes and a lot of fenders starting to get torn up.
Brad, I don't think I've ever seen so many brake problems this early in my life.
I tell you what, it's absolutely what we thought it would be as far as a close racing. But you're right, seeing all these right front tires go down with the beads melting, it's been very, very interesting. It has to start putting a little bit of doubt, though, in some of these racers' minds about those right front tires.
Now, here's something to think about. Will Jimmie Johnson allow Jeff Gordon by to lead some laps for some bonus points shortly after this restart?
No, absolutely not. You don't let him lead anything.
It may be in the works. You just wait and see. Green flag, Doc.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Jimmie Johnson, is he feeling benevolent, or why would he, to get back there and get where people can beat and bang on you? They come charging up off turn 2. By the way, the 7 car of Robbie Gordon back in the garage area. He was 34th in owner's points, having a rear end gear replaced. Hope to be back on the racetrack here very shortly. 2 car, Kurt Busch, trying to get around the leader there. He's being shown 24 laps down in 39th position.
Kurt Busch really giving a good fight on the bottom right here under Jimmie Johnson. And Jimmy's got a great car, so looks like Kurt's got his car handling pretty good. Had that brake issue earlier.
If you're Jimmie Johnson, do you battle the 2 car, or do you let him go and then go back by him in a few laps?
Well, I mean, he has to battle him because he needs that, to be out front. But that 2 car's 24 laps down. I don't know why he's giving such a race here, unless it's he's just having a little fun. As long as he doesn't slip up and get into Jimmie Johnson, I think everything will be fine. But Jeff Gordon's his pace is running out.
Yeah, and Jimmy's problem was if he let the 2 car go, the 24 was going to jump in behind him and take the lead. And he didn't want that to become a freight train and end up back in 4th or 5th.
McMurray now back in 3rd spot. He will go around Kurt Busch. Carl Edwards will follow him, and then the train goes by. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the 88 being shown back in 5th position.
Going back to Jimmie Johnson, he was talking earlier about how to win this title, and that's to get all the points possible at every one of these races. The way to do that is to lead the most laps and win the race. So I don't think he's going to give anybody anything today.
Jimmie Johnson came in here with a 69-point lead at Martinsville, halfway home in the chase. In the last 2 years, the driver who has led the point standing coming into Martinsville has not won the championship. A year ago, it was Jeff Gordon. 2 years ago, it was Jeff Burton. In neither year did those drivers go on to become a champion.
Yeah, but the difference is this is Jimmie Johnson leading the points. He's the guy that ran them down and passed them and went on to win championships. So, that's a big difference. And this is a team that has the momentum, and in these races, they do a terrific job. You see Greg Biffle battling with Denny Hamlin here on the racetrack. This is for the 7th spot.
A little more on Biffle, Dave.
And I just want to give you guys that number that the 16 team is looking at. Whoa, little tire mark right there. That'll fix the 6 number. 21. That is the position on the track that they had right before they stayed out for that caution. So right now, battling for 7th is not bad. It's a lot better than 21st.
Yeah, we see right in front of Denny Hamlin there, you saw the 8 car, and he is now a lap down. He'd been leading this race earlier, and you saw the contact that he had with Elliott Sadler, and in making repairs to that car on pit road the last time, they lost a lap, so he is now 1 lap down, back in the 32nd spot.
Here's another battle. These cars have been side by side for over a lap, maybe a lap and a half now.
14th and 15th, Reagan and Montoya. Behind them is Newman.
We've had some reports that Montoya might be running out of brakes at some point, so I don't think that he can push it as hard as he wants to right now. Shannon?
Well, Dale, Andy picked Juan Pablo Montoya as his sleeper, and exactly what you just said, the team saying that he's struggling with those brakes. I told you earlier in the race how Juan Pablo Montoya is so rough on those brakes, but the good news is that the car is starting to come around. It was really loose to start this race. Right now, Juan Pablo Montoya says it's definitely a lot tighter.
Shannon, right behind him, pretty good battle for 16th spot as Vickers wants it and just nudges his way underneath the 12 car of Ryan Newman.
Andy, we heard Gil Martin talk about that very thing about the brakes would be good if they could make the car good for Clint Boyer before this race started. That's the same thing. You heard him say that Montoya's car wasn't as good, so he's having to use the brakes more than what he would like to.
And that's the problem. If you got a great handling car, you don't have to use the brakes that much. But when it's not handling, you have to use the brake to make the car do something that it's not wanting to do on its own.
Yeah, especially back in all the traffic he's been encountering for the entire day.
And right now he's got the 83 car and the 44 car there of Rudeman that have tires. Brian Vickers and Newman have new tires on that last caution flag.
3 Childress cars, the RCR cars, the 07 of Boyer, the 29 of Harvick, and the 31 of Burton, all running together, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And although Clint Boyer has not won here, we asked him about the fact that he seems to feel pretty comfortable at this very tight half-mile track.
This is a track where, you know, over the last couple of years, I've been, you know, worried about getting to and didn't want to run here because you're worried about running back. I look at it now as an opportunity. This is one of the tracks that I have to improve on and get better at to win a championship someday. And I have to learn from these guys and we're starting up front with them and racing with them all day long. And hopefully, you know, I'll get that experience.
Making his 6th start here at Martinsville in his career, does not have a top 5, 2 top 10s, including a 10th place finish here back in March. Mike.
And Doc, coming into this race, the 07 team's hopes were pretty high. After all, this is the very car that Clint has won both his races, of course, New Hampshire and Richmond, so they were expecting to do pretty well here, but he's been tight most of the day. Last stop, they made a wedge adjustment, and it switched the balance completely in the other direction, gave him a little bit of wheel spin. He's been loose ever since.
I think these guys aren't too unhappy with where they're running right now, though.
Well, one thing that happens a lot of times, the guys are talking about their cars being loose off the corner. It's usually because it's tight at the beginning in the middle of the corner, and the guys try to turn it with the throttle, and before you know it, the rear tires are spinning. I don't know how many times I've been up here with drivers that tell me that, hey, I've got to get my car tighter. You got to tighten me up off the corner, and I actually loosened the car up and made it better.
He did tell your driver you were doing that, right?
I made it better. He didn't care.
Well, we asked you earlier in our AT&T Crew Chief Challenge, which chaser will get their first Martinsville Cup win today? Did you vote for Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, Clint Boyer, or Kyle Busch? How do you think the votes went, guys?
Well, Edwards looks like he's got the best car today. Yep, it's Boyer.
Clint Boyer, so maybe they know something at 07. Remember, I mentioned at the top of the show that the last time we had qualifying rained out at this racetrack was the last time Richard Childress' car went to victory lane. And that was back in September of 1995. The driver then was Dale Earnhardt Sr. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.